good morning, everybody. Here's some, I think, good news. The night before's episode did not repeat itself last night, and I kind of, when I was reading, I got the gist. Here's some water dripping, that's why it's sizzling a little bit. I got the gist that everything that happens to someone suffering from the parasite, it's chronic. It doesn't like stop. That might be too much for the OXO. Let's see what happens. You are sizzly, my little friend. I did take some water to it. There's salt all over the I had to clean it up a little bit, and there was salt all over the counter over there, so. The Royal Flamingo stuff, the honey green mist, the great tasting stuff. I said that yesterday, that, well, I don't know if it was the coffee. You know, it could have been a lot of different things, including the coffee. The coffee could have been bad because of the process. And I don't know how much study's gone into the process. You know, when those kind of things do fall off, when they go bad, should they be immediately tossed? You know, at a certain date, what's the longevity? And that's probably something someone has a number on, but on all of the reviews for different coffees and different coffee making methods, I don't think I've ever seen anyone address whether the specialty coffees that like co-fermented, or I know that the honey processed by itself or the naturally processed by itself, or just the washed coffees, those ones tend to have more shelf stability because at the end of the day they're still beans. But I just don't know if co-ferments change how everything reacts to time, you know, so I don't know. It could have been that. It could have been we went to a restaurant, a friend of mine and I, on Tuesday night, had a really bad sandwich. Reuben, I had a Reuben. And generally, I like Reubens. But the meat was chewy, which I don't think you really want in a Reuben. I don't think you really want chewy meat in a Reuben. I found my little tamper. We're gonna use that because this goes in here and fits like that, and it's supposed to keep the coffee flat. This is it might be a little bit too of a coarse chop for this, but we're not at the fill line at all. So there's a little fill line in there. We may be a little bit past one of the lines, but the other one we're not past, so I think we'll be okay. Yeah, that might be the iced coffee line. We may just be at the hot coffee line. So you just kind of go in there, you just kind of tamp it down, give it a little bit of pressure. Now it's a little bit more compact, and that's nice. So I'll clean that off later. And then we attach, and then we detach, and we're gonna put the water in there and put this over this. Comes with its own little carafe. The OXO Rapid Brewer, I found it to be very, very cool. A lot of fun to use. Coffee is almost like instant. It's a concentrate, so you want to add a little bit extra coffee to it, or you could add, you know, milk to it, or creamer to it, or half and half to it. But it does come out a little bit more concentrated than, say, if you put through a Chemex or a Clever. Or even the AeroPress. The AeroPress, I do believe, even says, you know, as is coffee. You can, of course, do whatever you want to make it. You can do whatever you want to make it whatever you want. But the OXO has been advertised as a concentrate coffee maker. So. So that's going. So yeah, I didn't have a repeat last night, and my stomach feels a lot better. So I'm going to say it was some kind of food deal rather than the parasite, which, you know, knock on wood, thank goodness. I'm very glad about that. Doesn't take what I said about awareness of it away from yesterday at all. We should be aware of what's going on and, for ourselves in this case, try to mitigate as much damage as possible. No one wants to get sick. Nobody wants to get sick. So awareness of these things that are out there, regardless of where you are in the country, will help keep you from getting sick. But yeah, that coffee may have gone bad enough to upset me. It could have been the Reuben that I had, because like I said, I bit into it and I'm like, usually this, because it's pastrami, either pastrami or corned beef. Either way, it doesn't matter, because that stuff should be bite through tender. It was not bite through tender. It was bite and pull. I'm not saying the meat is bad. I was just saying the meat was wrong. It could have been anything on that sandwich. It could have been the sauerkraut. Could have been the Thousand Island dressing. It's hard to say. It could have been the pickle chips. We had pickle chips. There could have been something wrong with the pickle chips. I don't know. I am 70% sure now, as opposed to 80% sure it had to have been the parasite. I feel like I'm more 70% into today. It was some kind of food thing, and everything feels a lot better. So that's good. It's always terrible. Foodborne stuff is always scary. I don't know if I feel more vulnerable than when I get something via food. When I get sick because food is wrong, or something has happened to the food, or something hasn't happened to the food. I don't know if I feel more vulnerable than when that kind of stuff happens. It's very scary, because we have no control, and we don't know. We're already infected and we don't know. So it's just a lot. But it's not something to worry about in your day-to-day life, honestly. That sounds weird, but honestly, putting that into your worry bucket is not worth the effort. Adding stuff to your worry bucket like that, that's as bad as saying, should I go outside today? A meteor could strike me. Maybe I should just stay inside the house. It's that kind of a thing. It's like, don't sweat the details as much, because it's just not. I know what I should have done. No, too late. Let's zero it out on this cup. Okay. And then we'll go from there. So the coffee immediately starts passing through. Even though it is a fine mesh sieve down there, it's a metal sieve, it's still porous, so water is going to start going immediately, which is good, because you want water passing through. In this case, we're going to use this thing up at the top here to add pressure to force the water through the coffee in order to get ourselves 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The water will drain. Because we packed the coffee, it'll probably be a little bit more pressure, so I shouldn't really need more than 5 presses. It smells excellent. But like I said, we're going to need a little. All right, yep. There we go. And you kind of hear it hissing. That means we've passed all of the water that's in the chamber, and now it's just forcing the water out of the coffee through pressure. So let's see how much we got here. 158 milliliters or grams of coffee fills the mug up halfway. It does smell lovely. Yeah, it's super concentrated. So we will add 155. Let's get this up to 200. And some. And then I'm going to go over here. I'm going to add a little filtered cold water. 1, 2, 3. Okay. cool it down a little bit. All right, so, I mean, added about 60 grams of cold water, 55 grams of additional hot water, and the coffee water itself, which was 150 some odd grams or milliliters. So, it makes excellent coffee. It really does. It's a fascinating device that's just so easy to take apart. And you can just, you can collapse the top of it like that. It kind of locks into place with a little twist here. And then you can, I mean, hell, this will go into the, if you're careful, a lot of backpacks these days have those little mesh stretchy sleeves on the side for water bottles. This will fit right in there. It all attaches together except for the little carafe at the bottom. The carafe just kind of sits. So that may go into something like a shaving kit or a toiletry bag. But I mean, you're gonna wash this thing up before you use it again anyway. So I mean, that'll just fit right in there like a water bottle, because where's my water bottle at? It's a little wider, but not that much wider. That'll fit right in there. As long as you clean it up, make sure it's dry, and you stick it in there, I mean, this will go with you everywhere. Or you can just put it inside your bag. I mean, it's like I said, it's just small. It's so small. It's great. It's a great device. I love using it. I'm glad that I didn't hesitate too long to buy it. It's definitely worth getting. I forget how much it costs. So don't go to Target. Fuck Target. Oh yeah, the Rapid Brewer, it's $44.99. Oh yeah, they did the AeroPress is doing these premium ones. This one's made of steel. Some of them are made of glass now. I don't know. That's a lot for an AeroPress. That's a showpiece. This AeroPress with the metal bit there, that's a showpiece. You whip this out during a party. Would anyone like coffee? And you show that off. It looks like, I don't know what that website is. I'd probably go to OXO, their website. I mean, it's probably on Amazon as well. So yeah, $44.95 on Amazon. And it's just like what I showed you. It's very simple. Ground coffee in, hot water in, top on. You can let it sit and drip for a couple of seconds to get everything saturated. And then press 5 or 6 times. It comes with instructions, but instructions, whatever. You press it 5 or 6 times. And by the time, if you put it to the fill line, everything's got a fill line. Even the little thing in here's got a fill line. And then there's even little lines here that kind of match to where the threads should end and not over tighten. So yeah, I mean, it's very user-friendly. You get a cup of coffee out of it because, you know, you're gonna add extra coffee to fill up the cup and you won't feel like you're losing any flavor. It's not as flavorful as through the Chemex. The Chemex seem to extract a lot more of the citrusy kind of flavors. This is definitely leaning more towards the black tea flavor profile, the hints, the notes. There's very little citrus, maybe just a little bit, a hint, a soupçon, as some people say. But definitely leaning more towards the black tea side. But it's still very delicious. So, you know, the Chemex is really nice. You can get V60s that kind of do the same thing that the Chemex does. But the nice thing about a Chemex is that it's all encompassing. You just need a filter. So everything goes right down in here. If you have a V60, it's just a dish that everything funnels into, and then something you put on top of a carafe, and then you have to bring your own glass carafe with you. So it's like there's a lot more to it. This is more all-encompassing, but it's big and bulky, you know. Whereas this, very travel size, very easy to get around, and not too hard to clean up either. You know, you just take that off. You should probably mop the top out here where the water was, because there might be just a hair bit of backwash. You can kind of see there's a little bit of foam around the bottom here. So, you know, that kind of backwashes a little bit. So you get a little bit of coffee in the filter there. So in the shower head there. So you want to do that. But then you've got this, it's not a cake because nothing pressed down on it except for air pressure. But, you know, a lot of it comes out. And, you know, if you're in someone else's hotel room or Airbnb, just put the rest of it down the drain. Who's gonna tell? Who's gonna tell? You know, and then just take a paper towel and you know, mop up the outside and the inside. So yeah, it's a super easy, fun device, and I really enjoy using it, especially for how quick and easy stuff gets taken care of. And then of course you want to give that a little bit of a rinse out as well. So thank you for watching today. I really appreciate it. I'm relieved that I'm trending more towards having a food problem rather than it being a parasite problem. That's great, but that doesn't mean that we should drop our guard. It's still out there. It's curable. It's not going to kill you. I mean, every parasite has a chance to, you could be highly allergic to it. It could give you a terrible reaction and then make it life-threatening. But in the case of this one, it seems like with the majority of people, it is just giving you the runs. So we're fortunate in this case that it is not life-threatening for the most part. But we should still be on the watch for it because nobody wants to be sick. We will see you next week on Tuesday. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we will talk to you later. Bye!